Hello and welcome to another edition of World Talks here on TVP World. I'm your host Benjamin Lee, and please join me and my guest on this next interview. Israel continues to attack the Lebanese capital of Beirut, where 3 people have been killed and 6 others wounded within the last few hours. Iran, meanwhile, has launched several missiles at Israel in the early hours of Thursday morning, but no casualties have been reported so far. The Middle East war is rapidly escalating after joint U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iranian targets and retaliatory attacks across the region. Joining us today on TVP World to discuss this is Eyal Zisser, a professor of Middle East history at Tel Aviv University and a vice rector of Tel Aviv University and holder of the Yonah and Dina Ettinger Chair in Contemporary History of the Middle East, leading Israeli expert on regional conflicts. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Good morning.
So before we kick things off, can you help us understand from Israeli perspective, what is the main objective of the current military campaign against Iran?
Well, I guess that the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, wants to get rid of this regime, but generally speaking, I think that both Israel and the United States are after the military capabilities. This is target number 1. And also the ability of the regime to make decisions and to control Iran. This is number 2, referring to the assassination of high-ranking commanders and top political leaders, and of course the headquarters of the Iranian security forces. But I think that at this stage, the attacks aim at the military capabilities of the Iranians.
All right, like you mentioned before, top-level Iranian officials have been taken out. That includes Iran's supreme leader, as well as a lot of the council members that's supposed to be taking charge as well. How have that affected the stability of the Iranian regime so far?
Well, it's a blow, it's a major setback, but Iran is not Syria under Bashar al-Assad, a one-man show. And when you get rid of this man, everything is being solved. The Iranian regime has backing from within some sectors of the Iranian population, clearly also from the security forces, the Revolutionary Guards, and they can easily, not easily, but they can replace. It will take time to those who become now in charge to take over, to make the decisions. So it's a step back. It makes things difficult for Iran, but it's not a game changer.
Are we going to potentially see troops on the ground?
Well, I think that that's not what President Trump is after. It will not necessarily lead anywhere unless you said 1 million soldiers or several 100,000 soldiers, and this is now out of the question. So I guess they will continue with the bombing rather than sending American forces to fight on Iranian soil. I guess that what the Americans will try to do is to find local forces within Iran, around Iran, that can make for them the job. That's exactly what the Americans did with ISIS. I mean, they didn't send hundreds of thousands of American soldiers to fight on Syrian soil against ISIS. They recruited local Iraqi and Syrian forces, Kurdish forces, to do for them the job. So I guess this will be the direction, but of course we'll have to wait and see.
Right. How about from the Israeli perspective? Are they prepared to send people in? Recently, according to some CIA reports, they're saying that without boots on the ground, it's really hard for this thing to be over. While there are some other reports alluding to what you mentioned, perhaps recruiting local forces like the Kurdish forces to carry out some operations. Where do you see things going?
Well, it's mainly up to the Americans. Israel, as the war minister, secretary said, the American Secretary of War said, is a capable, trusted ally, but with limited capabilities. The United States is a superpower. So I doubt it very much whether Israel can send troops to fight, maybe limited operation, but not more than that. It will be probably local forces, but I think that we need to make a separation between, announcement and declarations by politicians and what the generals, the Israeli, the American generals are after, and what is the precise task, the mission they got, and this is to eliminate the military capabilities. And as we see, that's what the Americans and the Israeli forces are after.
Right, and simultaneously, we also saw Israel striking targets not only in Iran, but Lebanon as well. How wide do you think this conflict might spread?
Well, in Lebanon, what happened was that Hezbollah made a very stupid mistake by joining Iran. Well, Hezbollah, as we all know, pretend to be a Lebanese organization, but it was formed by Iran. Iran gave him billions of dollars along the years, and also its ammunition, even its missiles. So the Iranian did it to make sure that in the moment of truth, Hezbollah will support them, will join the war, and that's what Hezbollah did. And I'm afraid it will pay heavily. But apart from Lebanon, where you have a Shiite group loyal to Iran, you can see, all the other regions in the Middle East are relatively quiet, apart from the Gulf states, which have been attacked by the Iranians.
All right. Some European leaders have been criticizing these attacks as reckless. Do you think, how is this being viewed in Israel? What's the general perception inside?
Attacks, you mean the American attacks against Iran?
The entire military operation as a whole.
It's a question. We need to wait and see. President Trump referred to the fact that it was inevitable. That sooner or later it would have happened. I don't think we still have the information regarding the level of threat Iran posed to the United States, which was, this accusation or this assumption was the trigger. Clearly, nobody is nobody mourned the supreme leader of Iran, Ali Khamenei, brutal dictator who killed thousands of his own people. Iran posed a threat to the region in general, to Israel. So I think it was a question of time. It was in its way to achieve nuclear capability. So this was the pretext. As for the immediate reasons that forced or enabled President Trump to make this attack, we'll have to wait and see.
All right. Do you think that the current escalation might trigger even broader regional involvement from groups that's aligned with Iran?
Well, the groups that are aligned with Iran are mainly Hezbollah in Lebanon, and we saw it joining the war, and the Houthi in Yemen. Probably they might join, but they are already involved in military confrontation with the Americans, with the Saudis, with the Israelis. So these are not any new in it, and also the Shiite militia loyal to Iran in Iraq. These are the only three groups that may support Iran. Rather than that, all the other countries are on the other side, supporting the Americans in an alliance with the Americans and clearly supporting the Gulf states.
All right. Now, we do have a little bit of time left, and I was wondering if I can get your personal experience. How is it like being in Tel Aviv so far? Have you had any air raid siren alerts, or are there any threats of danger?
We had several hours ago. I mean, a year ago, or 2 years ago, when the Iranian first attacked Israel, they launched almost 500 rockets, and you can hear these rockets above your head. Now, because of the American and the Israeli attack, their capabilities were clearly damaged, and they can launch only 1-2 rockets, and clearly there is tension, but at the same time, I mean, the capabilities of the air defense system are excellent. So this makes you much more secure. I mean, you are at home, you are in the shelter. That makes you secure, but of course, these are not easy times.
All right. Thank you so much for your input and insight. Really appreciate it. And thanks for being with us on TVP World. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Cheers. And thank you for tuning into this edition of World Talks. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.